Hi everyone, it's OCD. I moved here 8 years ago, and when I moved, I just been here twice and I was on vacation. And I, of course, did the classic Berlin vacation. I went to clubs and watched a bit around, and I immediately kind of fell in love. And I felt the freedom that I didn't feel somewhere else. And now, of course, it changed a bit how I approach the city and also how the city is. It's a love and hate relationship. Like when I'm leaving, I'm happy to leave, and when I'm not here, I'm missing it. I mean, if I wouldn't be in Berlin, if I wouldn't move to Berlin, I guess I would never be where I am now. Like musically, personally, it's really changed me. I mean, also if you see pictures from me before and now, it's really different. I got Berlined. And I guess I will stay here for a while, but not forever. I mean, I went to so many parties, I heard so much music. I was like a sponge at the beginning. I met so many different people and went to so many different parties, and I guess I couldn't do this somewhere else. So I'm super, super happy of this, and I would say my music was, since the beginning, pretty hard, and now it got a bit more soft, but I still really, really like this kind of dark vibe with aggressive sounds, but also having like these breaks that are very emotional, where you can kind of lose yourself on the dance floor, and me too. And sometimes these moments are so emotional that I cry a little bit, but I don't show it. Of course, the first place will always be and forever be Paula Temple. She's my idol, so we love you. And I also really like SNTS, Headless Horseman. All of these kind of artists that have this kind of dark emotions, that put these dark emotions into music. These are exactly the artists that I like, because they are hard, but not just hard to be hard. They express these emotions in a way that it really touches me. So they were like the first people I was looking at, and also Perk. Actually, my very first techno party was with Perk. So that's how it started. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, I really like the music, the people, the vibe. It was super nice, because usually if you go, I don't know how it is somewhere else, but in Italy, like usually clubs are mostly for drinking and hearing, I don't know, tech house or EDM or more pop music. And that was the first time that I was in a club and I was feeling like completely comfortable, and that there were so many different people, but we were all, I don't want to say we were the abnormal people, but we were different from what society looks like. So I felt super comfortable. I would like people to get lost in their own selves. I also get lost into it at some point. The best sets for me are the one where every track is fitting perfectly and creating this incredible energy where you are lifted, but at the same time you're kind of scared of what's about to come. And then I like to have some peaks, and then I like to go down again and have these very emotional moments where you are questioning your life, or you're like, I'm a human being, what I'm doing. Like everything is where it should be. It's a transcendent feeling. And then I like to go up again and always have this intense energy that it's like really making you scared of the next drop, but then also being very emotional. So it's a kind of a contrast. But yeah, that's what I really like. I would like to be like we are here right now, somewhere underground where everything is dark and you get completely lost. I would say I'm more like another person, because I'm very different when I'm playing. And a lot of people told me, they're like, you're completely crazy, like you switch, there is kind of a switch. Of course, it depends. Not every gig is the same, but yeah, I would say it's a different person. It's a contrast. I'm a person of contrast. For me, I would say there's more than one. In Berlin was Tresor. When I arrived there, I was like, am I supposed to play here? Like, I was super emotional. It was also one of the first venues where I went to, so it felt crazy to be on the other side. RSO, it's also a super nice club, great sound system, and I like KitKat when there's Gegen because it's also a super nice vibe. Like, I know a lot of people there. I mean, it's Gegen, it's family. And outside Berlin, I really liked Chidi in Georgia. That was also very nice. It felt like the first times I was in Berlin. It was like Berlin in 2017 or 2018, really nice. And also when I played there, I was like, I cannot believe I'm here. So I'm resident there since 6 years now, since 2019, if I'm not wrong. And for the people that don't know, it's a queer party, and when you go there, no matter what, who you are, how you look like, what you're wearing, nobody cares. There's this energy where you feel super comfortable and the music is super nice and it's super colorful. I don't know how to describe it, but when I'm there, it feels, of course, super special to play. I know so many people, so many friends are coming. It's just a super nice vibe and also super fun. I would say usually parties in Berlin are more focused maybe on the gay scene, and Gegen it's not like this, and you can also see from the crowd you have all kind of queers, and that's for me what it makes me, of course, also feel comfortable. I know the space is for everyone and not just for males. At a certain point, if you go there as a trans person, queer person, female or non-binary, you don't feel like you can take this space. So that's how I would describe Gegen. Nice music, space for everyone, nice vibe, and super fun. When I'm going there, I already know the venue, I know the people, so I feel more comfortable, and I would say I go a bit more crazy. People who saw me know what I'm talking about. And yeah, I just feel super comfortable, and I'm super happy to be there and share so many moments with friends. I have a lot of good memories about Gegen, yes. The craziest thing that happened to me, once I was playing and a guy came to the booth and left a stone of MD on my mixer. I was like, what? I don't want it. And he was like, take it. And then I just left it on the mixer. A very big gift. He was also super high, and I guess he wanted to share the experience and he left it there. So. But yeah, of course, also saw a lot of people having sex, but this is not crazy, it's just people being people. So. But I remember once it was a birthday of a friend and there were like 3 people almost fucking on my leg at Gegen. So that was maybe crazy. It was not during my gig. I was like, oops. We open a very hard topic. We live in 2025, and in my opinion, I guess it's very hard to don't use social media. They are part of our life. Every aspect of our life, it's very influenced by internet and social media, like even elections or everything is super polarized. So it's always me against everyone. That's the feeling I get on social media. I would say I wish we couldn't use social media, but I guess if a promoter wants to book you and you don't have SoundCloud, Instagram or whatever, I guess it's then a bit hard to get booked, unfortunately. I wish we don't need them, but I guess we do. I mean, SoundCloud, it's super important. I always used it and I'm happy to use it because I can upload whatever I want, and it's different from Spotify, of course. People still use it for podcasts and mixes, and that's why I also like it. You can find so much music there, and Spotify, it's more focused on production. So if you're not a big producer or whatever on Spotify, you don't stand up. Instagram, I really don't like to use it, but I know it's part of the game, let's call it like this. I know some people are also using TikTok now. I don't know how to use it. I'm a boomer. I'm sorry, I don't know how to use it, so I just don't use it. I mean, I also used Instagram, as you know, to talk about cancer and everything. So, of course, the way you use social media, it's important, but you also get used by social media. So, not good for our mental health. On the other side, they also help me to share my story and to get a lot of support from people. So, I don't know, you have a bad day, you are in bed, or I don't know, you're not having gigs or something happened, and then you see, of course, on the other side, everyone shining, but actually nobody's really shining. But it's also part of the game to take this happiness. Nobody wants to hear that your life is shitty or whatever. So that's the feeling I get from social media. Why I'm not happy, why I'm not successful, why I don't look so good, why, and this gets in your head, and if you are already in a fragile state of mind, it can be very dangerous. If you have breast cancer or other kind of cancers, you can remove it and then do chemo or radio, depends of course. In my case, you cannot remove your lymphatic system, one lymph node, and hope that it works. So you have to do a systematic chemotherapy, so it goes in all of your body, everywhere. It has to be everywhere, actually. I don't know if it was one of the hardest medicines that I got, because there are also, I guess, harder chemos, but this was pretty fucking strong. I was having 3 or 4 different chemos, and then for 3-4 hours I was having immunotherapy. They were also giving me medications against nausea and everything, but the first time I wasn't ready for that, and those were the hardest day of my life. I thought, how am I supposed to do this for like other 5 times? I don't know. And then I talked to the doctor. He gave me other medicines against nausea that were actually for people who are bipolar. And this medicine switches something in your brain that kind of deactivates your stomach's feelings. And with that, everything was fine, but you don't have any energy. I mean, you sleep for 24 hours, 48 hours, and then slowly. The best thing for me was doing sport. Very soft, but sport really helped me, because without sport, I guess, with sport you also make the chemo go everywhere, and it helps you stay in shape. And I felt also pretty good sometimes. I was like, what the fuck, I'm doing chemo without hair, I have nothing, I look super sick, but still I'm here doing sport, so it was also motivating. What I really want to tell people is cancer is not just a sickness for old people. Everyone can get it one day, so it's important to get checked. And if someone has a feeling something is off, go to one doctor. If the doctor is not listening to you, go to the second doctor, go to a third doctor, and get like properly checked. Because that was kind of my story. Went to the first doctor, they were like, no, it's nothing. Then I went to the second doctor, and she was like super worried, and she was like, you have to do a biopsy now. And there I already understood that I was probably in deep shit, and also confirmed then what I was most scared of. So yeah. What is also important is that it's temporary. That was kind of my mantra. I was like, this is temporary. One day I will feel better, or I will feel differently, even though it seems impossible right now. Because I was like, will I ever go out again? Will I ever travel again or spend time with my friends? It was really hard to see myself in a future where I'm feeling good again. And now I realize how much I went through, and it's also sometimes already hard to remember what happened, because my brain is already like, let's put this away. But now I feel stronger than before, not just mentally, also I feel way more stronger in my body. I put so much more energy into eating well, doing sport, and avoiding alcohol as much as possible. And I can see it. So I'm a rock now. I I took so many stuff. I mean, I learned so much about myself and about the people that surround me. I think something that really changed the whole situation was talking about it, because at the beginning I didn't want to talk about it. And then I thought, okay, I just do it and let's see. And then I got so much love, so many messages. And this was really helping me sometimes to survive, because during those times, your main focus is, I have to survive. I have to get through this. I have to be in the best shape to help my body get through this, because of course, nobody wants to do it. I was also at the beginning like, what? So yeah, what I learned is be focused on surviving when it's time to do it, and also that we are way more stronger than we think. Way more stronger. So when we are in a hard situation, we will find a way out of it. It's also hard for me to describe it with words what I was feeling, because everything was so much. And what really helped me was, of course, my girlfriend, having social contacts. It's also sometimes harder for the people who are around you, because I was thinking, if I die, I die and I'm bye-bye. But if I die, the people around me will suffer because I died. So maybe the people who were close to me were suffering even more than me. I don't know. We will never know, because we are in our minds and bodies. But what also really shocked me is that I thought when the chemo is over that I'm happy and ready to be back at life. It was the first time in my life that I experienced also depression. Like, it was just for some weeks, but I got really scared. I always cook, I really like to cook, and I was not even hungry, and I was not looking forward to anything. Like typical from depression. And it really scared me, because I was like, I never felt like this, and I don't want to feel like this. And then it took me some months to feel better. So that's also super important for people who are going through this. Don't expect to feel good when you're done, because it's a long, long journey. Another very important thing is that health has the highest priority. Before, for me, it was always like, I don't know, if I have a gig and I don't feel super well, I do it anyway. Or I was also working another job. I was always working, playing, and not really caring about my body. But I guess it maybe already gave me some signs. So what I'm trying to bring now back into my life, even though it's hard, health is your highest priority. If you're sick, don't go to work. If you're sick, take time to rest, and that's very important. I was repressing so many emotions in order to survive, that at some point all these emotions came back, and they came back stronger than ever. So what helped me was, of course, therapy, talking to someone who's professional, doing sport, eating well, and also spending time with family, friends. Social contacts are very important, and in Berlin it's a bit harder to just like, you call a friend and you're like, oh, let's meet. No, it's a bit hard. And for example, I don't know, in Italy, you're like, oh, let's have some food or drink something, and it's easier. I guess because Berlin it's also bigger, so we tend to spend a lot of time at home, or yeah, we are busy with ourselves. As you can imagine from the title, it reflects my journey with cancer, and almost every track was produced during my chemotherapy. So every track has a special emotion or shade, or shows a bit the feelings that I was having on that day. I also like to produce music that it's hard, but has of course a lot of emotions, and I really like to use like pads, this ambience. And it's actually a characteristic that I always had in my style. Some days ago I was listening to super old tracks, and I always had this kind of signature with these atmospheres and these pads where you get lost. And of course, releasing this EP on Noise Manifesto, I would say, was one of the main goals of my career. It's unbelievable. Still, I cannot really believe it. And thank you, Paula. Thank you, Nicole. And it was also, of course, super important to release it just kind of after my chemotherapy. And it was also a nice way to show people how I felt during the time and that you can feel all kind of emotions, and was definitely one of the first goals in my career, and I'm super happy. As I said, I still don't believe it happened. So. I had my favorite DJ from the beginning, DJ producer, and I was always dreaming to release on Noise Manifesto, and then it happened during such a horrible period of my life, and it was one of the best things of last year. And if I would tell myself 7 years ago, hey, you will release on Noise Manifesto, I would be stop talking bullshit, but it happened. So everything is possible, but it takes time. I have so many goals, and I'm sure it will take time to get there. I want them to experience maybe the 10% of the emotions that I was feeling while I was producing it. I want them to feel kind of also this suffering, but also this hope that I like to put in my tracks. And I also want them to know that even in the darkest moments, if you find something that you like, you don't have to do it every day, because it's also impossible to do something every day. But if you find something that you like, do it. And this will kind of help you to move day by day. I started also tattooing. It makes... I always liked tattooing, and then my girlfriend showed me how to do it. And when I was doing it, I was thinking just about like doing a straight line. I still cannot do straight lines, of course, but it was so nice. It was like meditation. So it really helped me to detach myself from reality. I was so focused that I didn't have time to think, oh my God, I have chemo in 2 days, or how it will be the blood test, or how I will feel. I don't even know what kind of thoughts I had. As I said, my brain is already like putting them by side. I'm very looking forward to come back to Chidi at the beginning of May, and I'm super, super excited. Also a festival in summer. Then after summer, we are planning with my new agency my first Asian tour, my very first tour. I will see places that I would not imagine to see, so I'm super excited. That it takes a lot of patience and through also hard work, but it's also not possible to put so much hard work every day, otherwise you just burn out. So it's important to do, I guess, a little bit every day, not really every day, but to be constant. And the most important thing is patience, and don't focus just on being technical. Also, like how to express these emotions. You don't have to know exactly how synthesis is working or how to layer something. I guess it's also important to evoke these emotions and to be very patient. I already said that because it's really important, and to connect with people. Because for me, moving to Berlin was also super important because I was meeting so many people, and then, of course, at the beginning, I was a bit shy to say, hey, I'm a DJ, like, oh, another one. But like being a pleasant person to be around, to be respectful, and I guess this really helped to go forward. And also very important because we will always have hypes and up and downs. It's totally normal to change a bit the style. I mean, otherwise everyone would play the same music since 30 years. It's normal. Music is evolving, society is evolving, instruments, tools are changing. What I try to do is always to try to keep my style so people know how now OCD is playing. And for me, as I said, there's this intense music with these breaks. That's like the signature. I mean, everyone was having a lot of beef on Instagram about this, so. It was like background, what background? I guess it's always like the light that makes you feel like, I try to focus on you and then it's fine. If the doctor is not listening to you, because we are in Germany, go to the second doctor. all the other emotions. Sorry.
It's a Gmail. You need to see it?
Just
Yeah.
we can cut it, I guess. So cut. So it's helping you.
I'm gonna know.
You're welcome. I hope I said enough.
Perfect. That's all.